And we'll be discussing a very important topic today, Family Man 3.
Going to Burma was a bigger dream than the American dream.
It is like आज के ज़माने का Dubai.
You know, Rangoon was till recently second only to New York in importance as an immigration port.
That's a big thing.
Big thing. It seems unimaginable today. They introduce, again, a large number of laws that are basically, against Indians.
And this is a brand new episode of Past and Curious. You are watching the Indian Express. I'm Abir Lahiri and with me Adrisha Roy Chaudhary. And we'll be discussing a very important topic today, Family Man 3. No, this is not what we are discussing, but there is a scene in Family Man 3 where JK goes to Manipur and says ki, right?
Moreh in Manipur. There's a restaurant in Moreh.
No, the character JK goes to Manipur and he says कि यहाँ सब कुछ तमिल में क्यों लिखा है, यहाँ इतने सारे तमिल्स क्यों हैं?
Yes.
So let's decode this answer that why Moreh in Manipur has so much Tamil population. Welcome to Past and Curious, and I'm the curious kid here, and she'll be talking about the past, the history of this topic. Why there are so many Tamils in Manipur?
Manipur or Moreh,
Moreh,
which is a
border town.
A town that is bordering Myanmar.
Okay.
Earlier known as Burma. Now, the story of Tamils in Moreh actually goes long back, can be traced back to the early 19th century when British India was also comprised of Burma.
Okay. Like the entire British India?
Yes, the entire British Empire had, there were several other parts also which later, got separated. But Burma was a very important part of the British Empire. And that is how a lot of Tamils went to Burma at this time. So, and this is the beginning of the story. Why they end up in Moreh in Manipur
is a very interesting part.
It's a very interesting, and there are many complications, many waves of different things happening. But to begin with, we need to know this, that as of now in Moreh there are close to 3,000 Tamil speaking people as per the Moreh Tamil Sangam, which is one of these representative bodies. Alright, how they ended up there is a fairly long history to it. There's a fairly long history to it. So basically, once the British, after taking over Bengal, they started consolidating the eastern part of their empire, which included Burma. Now, you would be surprised to know, and I was rather surprised to know as well, that at this moment, going to Burma was a bigger dream than the American dream.
It is like आज के ज़माने का Dubai, almost close to that. Everybody just wants to go there.
Yeah, so at this moment, Burma became this thriving economy, and Rangoon was literally this imperial hub. It was beautiful and there were land of opportunities. So a lot of people, apart from the fact that there were rural laborers, workers, traders, they were of course going from all across India. But at the same time, because there was, the British also introduced commercial crops like rice, tea, coffee in Burma. You had a lot of money lenders or creditors also going there, and one of them, a very important community, that among them were the Chettiars of Tamil Nadu, who were a prosperous business community in their home region as well. And in Madras at this moment, the money lending was not seen typically as a very profitable business.
Okay.
So they
because
found
it was stagnant.
It was fairly stagnant, and they found this new land of opportunities in Burma, where the business, absolutely, that is what it was. And because the British were introducing so many industries, they were developing Burma in so many ways. So a large group of them ended up in Rangoon and in Burma. But after the British developed it, definitely it became this very prosperous hub where people from all over India wanted to go. The new book by Sam Dalrymple, Shattered Lands, in which he actually quotes a British official who says that, Rangoon was till recently second only to New York in importance as an immigration port.
That's a big thing.
Big thing. It seems unimaginable today. And then he goes on to say that it now occupies pride of place as the first immigration and emigration port of the world. So this is how important Rangoon was. And of course, Indians really wanted to, all kinds of communities, wanted to go here and make a living.
And try their luck.
Exactly, all right. So that is how a lot of the Tamil speaking population landed in Rangoon, and they were economically again doing very well, playing a substantial role in the economy of Burma. Quite a prosperous community there as well, as much as they were in their home region. Now what happened is that as you have so many Indian immigrants coming to Burma, there was expectedly a rise of anti-India sentiment that happens, because a lot of the residents of Burma, the original residents of Burma, they were not very happy about this influx.
They are coming in, Indians are coming in, they are taking our jobs.
The usual story. So many, you have this, sort of an anti-India sentiment that starts developing.
Okay.
And
this is the early
1900s, all right. And by 1937, we have the administrative division of Burma from British India.
Okay.
When that happens, this anti-India sentiment only grows.
Okay.
And you have this, spree of laws that are being introduced by the administration in Burma, which are basically, to curb immigration from India.
Okay.
Now, because of this, by the late 1930s or so, the Tamil Chettiars, they were the first to consider repatriation. They wanted to move back to their home region, and this is the first.
They were the first.
One of the first,
okay.
All right, who wanted to go back to their home region because of these new laws that are coming. Now, over time, it only becomes more challenging, because in 1942, the Japanese invasion of Burma happens. And then we see this massive wave of re-immigration. A lot of Indians, like there's this one article I had referred to, a research paper in which the author notes that, around 500,000 Indians fled from Burma between January and June 1942. That's just in 6 months, that many Indians moved back.
But why? Wasn't it like a ray of hope? Because if Japan is taking over Myanmar, it may not...
the moment you have the Japanese invading Burma, there's also, the World War is looming in the horizon, and things are of course not easy, and already things were bad.
It's better to go back to our own home.
So that, and the Japanese would be further away from India than they would be in the eastern region or in Burma.
True.
So that is why a lot of them moved back. And after that, in 1948, when Burma acquires independence from the British, again we see that is yet another round of xenophobia that happens, because the new government, the independent government of Burma, they introduce again, a large number of laws that are basically, against Indians. So they introduce something called, in their new constitution, they have a range of citizenship laws that speak of something called the national races. Okay. And now what the national races are is
very subjective.
It's very subjective.
Very grey.
So, what happens eventually is that the concept of national races, they start incorporating a lot of the hill tribes. Okay. To make them Burmese, and at the same time they start excluding a lot of the Indian immigrants who were probably born, brought up and were Burmese in every other way, because they had also been living there for generations. Right. But they started getting excluded soon after the national races law is introduced. Okay. Then again, yet again in 1962, you have the military rule of General Nevin, and he again introduces a range of xenophobic laws. He launched this nationalization program called the Burmese Way to Socialism. And it was although it was directed against all immigrants, all foreigners, Indians were the worst affected. Okay. So through each of these phases, you see a lot of Indians constantly going back to their home countries. Okay. And Tamils were also one of them. Now, what happens after this is that many of these Myanmar Indians who flee to their home countries, they see themselves as Burmese in every way. Right. All right. Of course, they have roots in India. So their first instinct is to go back to their home, the region
Village,
from
home.
which their ancestors came. Because many of them were born in Myanmar also by now. You know, your generations
agreed.
living over here. So wherever their ancestors belong to, the first instinct is to go back there. And now at this moment, the Indian government is also coming up with ways of resettling them. Okay. So, from 47 onwards already, because of the partition and the refugee influx, the Indian government had a refugee resettlement program going on. And in 1960s, when there's the military rule in Burma, they extend this resettlement program to the Myanmar Indians as well.
Okay, if you want to come back, you can.
Yeah. So you have, daily there are these ships that are chartering between Yangon and Indian ports to bring back Indians into India. And typically, initially they are accommodated in these transit camps at the point in which they are disembarking from the ship. There are these transit camps, they are accommodated there. And with time, you have these refugee colonies of sorts that start
blooming
coming
up here and there. Okay.
And they come up everywhere. They're coming up in Delhi also. They are there in Bihar and Bengal and Uttar Pradesh. Now, among these many colonies, Moreh actually becomes a very distinctive one. Mainly because it's very, very close to Myanmar. The proximity is what makes it a very special place. Now, what happens is that once these immigrants, people who are coming back to India, they are settled in these camps, they find it incredibly hard to adjust.
Because they had a very lavish, may not be a lavish, but they had a decent
good life. Yeah, and they had for generations been living in Burma. And now you are in a camp in your home country.
The culture is different, food is different, the language is different, people are different.
And it's hard. So there's this one story I came across about this guy, Abdul Hasim, in one of the research papers I had referred to. He was a Tamil Muslim. Okay. He was born in Rangoon in 1953 and he was actually working for a shipping company there when he happens to move back.
And Rangoon was a big ship, like a dock. It's very big, and popular.
As you can imagine, he was leading a good life. He had a decent salary. He was leading a, fairly decent life. And now, after coming back, he goes to Chennai, to Madras, and where he is, living in one of these refugee colonies, and he's finding it very hard. He was finding it very hard to live there. So he then, in 1967 is when he decides to go back to Myanmar. Okay. He thinks that is my real home, so I'll go back over there. And this is typically the story of most of the Tamil-speaking population of Moreh, by the way. Okay, so these are people who wanted to go back to Myanmar after finding it very difficult to adjust in these refugee colonies in India. So when they go back, they realize that at the border, they are no longer being allowed to enter Myanmar. So they have to get back again. Now, because Moreh is so close by and they see that this is also a refugee colony and you have so many people, who are gathering over here. So slowly, they start settling down in this part of Manipur. And what binds them together is also the fact that, because they are returning from Burma or from Myanmar, they all speak the Burmese language. So they find it easier to connect with each other in this little border town, town that is...
It's a small community of Burma inside India.
Exactly. And, so there, this person, Abdul Hasim, for instance, whose, story I read in the paper, he in fact says that, we are the ones who made Moreh. We created it because so many of us were returning after being, sent back from the border of Myanmar, and we started settling over here. We created a life, a town of our own.
But they still speak Tamil.
At that moment, at least what I have read from the research papers and the books that I have referred to, Burmese language in fact became very important. because apart from the Tamils of course are the majority over here. But you also have people from Bengal, you have people from Bihar, from Punjab, Marwaris, everyone sort of congregating over here, and all of them are returnees from Myanmar. So what ties them together is the Burmese language. So they communicate with each other in Burmese rather than their own language. But of course, you do have Tamil language also over here, which is what we see in this family man scene where they enter this restaurant and you have posters and the menu is in Tamil as well. So that's how you have that many.
I'm sure there must be a lot of stories like this from the border towns of India.
Yes, I'm sure if we go to dig further, we'll find many more interesting stories of.
By the way, all the viewers who are watching this podcast, if you know about any of these stories, feel free to comment below, because we'll be happy to read it, and maybe Adrija can do a research paper, or maybe write a really interesting piece based on your inputs.
Yes,
so if you have something, please do comment down below.
Absolutely.
And if you feel like contributing anything to all the discussion we had today, bindas, comment down below that too. We would love to read your thoughts. And on that note, I guess this is a wrap for this episode of Past and Curious. We'll see you next week. Ta-da. Thank you.